I got that request to do a quick tutorial on how to sketch some workup sketches. So we're going to go in this video from thumbnail to workup sketch. So these would be my calm thumbnails. Okay, so this is what you'll submit to the discussion today. This is what I will give some feedback on. So your thing will probably look something like this, where you'll have a couple of check marks by the ones I think are working the best. So maybe you have 3 that are working really well, then that is up to you to then choose from there. So I will I kind of like this one. So let's go with number 2 there. Okay. So remember, these are all in your sketchbook, pencil and paper. Some people are using Procreate. That is fine as well. I'm just sketching here in Photoshop so I can record it on my computer. Let's go here. Let's open these up. So what I will do when I do that is I will just have my thumbnails open on, next to my new page in my sketchbook where I can start drawing. So I'll always start drawing that frame first, okay? So I find it's helpful, especially when you're getting more to like final art, just to use a ruler. It just kind of makes things look neater, especially when you're drawing those straight edges for your frame. Okay, so now I got this focal point here. 2 people kind of sitting on the edge of a cliff looking over some water, some mountains, and then negative space there. So that is where I want to start with that focal point. So maybe my critique, maybe there were some comments that said don't make sure that focal point isn't too close to the edge. So I'm going to kind of move my focal point just over to there a little bit. And so each one of these each thumbnail should take about 5 minutes. I'm going to go a little faster, but the workup sketch should take a little bit longer. Okay. So I'm just going to start to redraw this. But I can add more details here, make these shapes more unique, make them more interesting. And what you can do to get ideas is I pulled up all these pictures here that can give me ideas. So if you're having trouble drawing stuff or coming up with interesting silhouettes, you can look at this and help you to get some ideas. So I can just like look at this dude sitting here, be like, oh, is there anything I could use for my drawing? Oh, sure. Well, let's use this kind of sun hat here as my silhouette. Let's put one leg up. That'll kind of help make it stand out more. And go from there. Okay. And I have my second person. Let me go back to look at what I'm drawing. Okay, I got another person next to him. Maybe I'll give this person kind of longish hair. So just making these silhouettes of the people more interesting. So just adding a hat there for this person, hair for this person. You could even come here and add like a little water bottle. They just did a big hike. Maybe there's a water bottle there. Okay, and then these kind of cliff edges here. So this is the cliff here in my sketch. I'm going to kind of look at these cliff edges too. Look at the shapes of these rocks. Add in some plant texture. Maybe I put a bigger plant right here in the foreground. Some other rock shapes as well. Okay. I'll come back to that one. Then we have our straight line here for the big horizontal. And then we just got some mountains there in the distance. Mountains. So here's some mountains there. So again, you don't need to look at photos. I find it helpful for my style. Some people that have more kind of a cartoony style. Actually, I'm going to undo that. I want these mountains to be even smaller. I want them to be about that big. Okay. So now I got those mountains in there. I'm not trying to draw, you know, too dramatic angular mountains. So I want to make this calmer, more subtle. Keep those shapes pretty horizontal. Okay, what else do we got? We got a sun and some clouds. I have some cloud reference in here. There we go. So I want to leave almost this whole area up here empty for negative space. But I'll put in a few clouds, just some kind of here along the edges. I like how these clouds are nice and wispy. And I will put in just a simple sun. Okay. Do we want any texture in that water? Here's some ocean with some waves. If we do, we'll put a little bit. We want it to be subtle though. I'm just gonna put a few little lines here. In my sketch I got like little boats in there. I could put tiny little boats if I want down here. Little sailboats, okay? Alright, so this is kind of now fulfilling all those things for the calm mood. We got big negative space, got a small focal point, horizontal shapes, and nothing too crazy and angular. So that's kind of getting all the shapes there defined. Actually, let me do it this way. So the biggest thing, with this, let me just adjust a few settings here. Is in these workup sketches, I want you to add value. So you got to think about what you're drawing with. Are you drawing with pencil? That's kind of easier to get range of values. Are you drawing with pen? Are you drawing with markers? Whatever it may be. Think of, so you don't have to get all your values in, but if you get kind of where the darkest values are, where the middle values are, and where the light values are, that will be the best. So I already kind of got the dark values started here for the focal point, so I'm just going to fill this in with dark. You see I covered up some of that stuff in the foreground. That's okay. I'm going to go back and add that in. So I liked having a little bit of this texture here along the lines, and grass, little plants growing up here. You can come with something just a little bit lighter. Lighter. Just a teeny bit lighter. A little bit lighter than that. There we go. So I can get some of those plants and rocks also in there. I could even use some like cracks as leading lines as well. Okay. Then let's make the water slightly darker than the sky. Let's make the mountains a little darker than the water. So again, you just want to have an idea for your values before you get into Illustrator. Okay, I expect, you know, these values might change a little bit. Which is completely fine when I'm working in Illustrator. Okay. Let's lighten this up a little bit here. Obviously that would have to be different if you're drawing with a pen or pencil. You would have to erase out. I'm speeding this process a little bit long for ease of this video, but you can get that idea there. So focal point, maybe I'll put a little hand here that can act as another leading line. Okay, so that's pretty much what I'm looking for that workup sketch, is just to get better shapes in there, more unique shapes, make any changes that either you saw from your thumbnails or that I suggested from your thumbnails. And then just getting the basic values in there. Light, light value, medium value, dark value. So then this is what you will then take into Adobe Illustrator. Let me just delete all this stuff from earlier today. So you'll photograph this. I'm just going to take a screenshot here. And this is what you will take into Adobe Illustrator. Okay, you'll put this on your blank artboard. You will turn this into a template layer. I have all those other tutorials on that. And then I would make this the sky layer. Start with sky. Make a very light value for the sky. I do not know why my colors look like this. I gotta fix that. So sky there. Control Y. And then just start using that pen tool to trace over the shapes. Okay. And going from there, and then that will get my clear moon. But for that workup sketch, you're basically just, let me minimize this. You're looking at those thumbnails, which are pretty rough. Thumbnail to workup, thumbnail to workup. You're adding values, you're making changes, you're making the shapes better, you're adding small little details. And basically, a thumbnail should be about 5 to 10 minutes. The workup sketch should take you about half hour-ish. Okay? So after watching this, let me know if you have questions. I'm happy to take a look at your workup sketches as well as you're working through the project.